Welcome back, folks. This is the Mel Wright Show, all about getting you results from technology for your real estate business. And in this show, we're going to be discussing lists and why lists are so important for your business. And then we're also going to have a discussion about doing things on your mobile phone. You know, we know that you agents are away from your office most of the time on the road, and basically you have great technology in your pocket. So we're going to be discussing that as well. I've got my great co-host here, Robert. Robert, would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
I'd love to. My name is Robert Newman. I am the founder of Inbound Real Estate Marketing, and you can go to Inbound REM if you have any interest in seeing my website or learning more about me. But I am a 10-year veteran of real estate marketing and love sharing information that helps realtors make money with technology.
That's great. And like I say, I am the founder of MailRight. It's a marketing platform that helps you get leads, quality leads at an affordable price, with emphasis on using Facebook. So we're going straight into the show. I think I said it was show 146, and we're going straight into it. Lists and why lists are important. I've been thinking about this, and I've been listening to various other resources last week and over the weekend, and it really you can have really experienced real estate agents that get amazing results from you utilizing systems that they've been using for quite a while. Even now, I know some agents that do a lot of door knocking. They actually go in the field and they do so much of it every week, and they still get results from it. Right. I know agents that do a number of calls per day, or have like 2 to 3 days, a couple of hours. They do it every week and they get results.
Right.
Well, I've also noticed that a lot of agents are not very good at keeping in touch with their, what I would call their past clients and their sphere of influence, i.e. people that they've met in various functions, at the gym, at business, lunches. It doesn't really matter what it is, but they're in your sphere, somebody that could recognize you. And then anybody else that you touch in the community through any form of marketing or collecting their email and phone number. I found that a lot of agents are very, very poor at keeping in contact with these different groups, different, I would say, lists.
And how would you recommend that you stay, like, if you're going to do it the right way, because you're definitely, between the two of us, my opinion is that you're more the list expert than I am. So I'm curious to know, how would you stay in charge of these lists if you were indeed a real estate agent?
I think that's a great question. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, serving it right up for you.
Yeah, thank you. As I like it. So, first of all, segmenting your list. Don't treat your list all the same, because I've just outlined 3 ways of dividing your list into lists. And fundamentally, depending where you are in your career, you'll have different list structures. You know, if we're talking about an agent that's been in the business for less than a year or less than 2 years, your list of prior clients is going to be limited. It's just a fact of life. Mm-hmm. If you've been in the business for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you should have a reasonable list of clients that you've done business with. And it doesn't have to be it went totally to selling the house or buying a house. It could be even somebody that the deal fell through. It depends how the deal fell through. If there was personal conflict between you and the client, obviously contacting that client probably won't work. But if it was just a deal that fell through, but the client was satisfied that you did your best, but it fell through and you didn't go on to another deal, I still say it's a good idea to contact that person, right?
Right.
So you've got this list of people that you've actually bought houses, sold houses, or there's been some kind of business transaction, right? They are what I call high touch business prospects. They either could be thinking of moving again or buying another house, an investment property, or somebody in their family, or somebody that's a close friend. They've done business with you, so they should be open to referring you much more easier, right? So
Right.
I call those high touch. With those high touch type of people, I think the kind of email that you should, most agents, when you're talking, based on my experience talking about those type of people, you're talking between 200 to 300 probably people on that list, right?
Right.
I would call them. I would definitely, the emails I would send to them would be highly customable, and I would utilize something like Bom Bom on that kind of list.
Okay.
I would send them a personalized video email saying, how are you doing, blah, blah, blah. And then I would follow through with a call. And I'll keep on trying to keep in contact with those people on a regular basis, depending on what that each individual on that list is comfortable with. Is that making any sense, Robert?
Yeah, it is, but why don't you explain why you would use Bom Bom? I know what Bom Bom is, and I know that you really are familiar with it. You've had somebody on the show from Bom Bom, but why don't you?
I wasn't available to interview him that week, unfortunately. Yeah, well, I think Bom Bom's a really, really great tool, and I think it's a powerful tool, and I think it's worth the price if you can afford to utilize it with other online marketing systems. I think for mass email and for the other parts of the list structure, as what I'm going to describe it, I don't think it's suitable. And I think overusing it, you can diminish its power by overusing it.
Sure.
But I think I think you're going to get a bigger opening rate. They're going to recognize your face straight away.
A lot of people don't know what it does, though. Why don't you sit?
Oh, right. Sorry. Basically, it enables you to send out video email to people. It gives you an interface that enables you to do that reasonably easily. And you could send to those 300 people, you could send the beauty of it, you could set up an email that's personal. You don't have to mention their name, and you could blast it to all those 300 people on your list in one go. So you're saving a lot of time, first of all, and it still comes across really personal, right?
Right.
You've got to get your wording correctly, and you've got to be comfortable on the camera. It uses the webcam that's on most people's laptops it comes with an app for Android and iPhone, so you can use your phone to record your message. And actually the audio is probably the thing that you've got to get done well, but it deals with all that as well. And then it gives you an interface to put your list in and manage it. And I think for these people that you've done business with over the past, let's say, 2 years or plus, it's just a really good tool to regenerate that relationship again, and then do a follow-through call, because it will show you who opened the email, right? And then you can take that information and put it into your customer relations system, and then you can set up to do a follow-through call for the people that actually opened the email.
For the record, I agree 100%. about using Bom Bom on various parts of your list. I even would go so far as suggest is recording different Bom Bom messages. But as you and I have already discussed, and we agree, or at least I think we agree, but it doesn't matter whether we do or we don't. I think that video, the concept of somebody talking to you, is the most powerful form of marketing that's currently available in 2018. So even if, let's say that your open rate or your engagement rate was lower with Bom Bom or video emails, I believe that the messaging inside them is stronger than other forms of messaging. And I think that that relationship that you're keeping alive or establishing with your customers is extremely important. I use video in my business every single day. Every single day, I use video. I send video messages to my clients to update them every month, and so I don't have I don't have my list segmented correctly, which is why I'm staying quiet for this particular episode. Is because I don't like to actually talk about things I have not taken the time to do myself. But I very much could see the day. Actually, that's not true. Using the example that you just used, I have done that. I have a list of clients. I have a list of people that I've done presentations to, and then I have my main list. But I don't really segment my marketing out too much to those three lists, and that's certainly not. That's something I should be doing, and that I'm not doing.
Thanks for that, Robert. And then we get on to your sphere list. I call it your sphere of influence.
Okay.
These are anybody that knows you, that maybe could recognize you if they saw you in the street, or they know your name or your business name in the area. These are looser than people that have done actual business with you, right?
Right.
And it's really important to keep in contact with those people. Just not to overdo it. These people probably are not in the present moment looking to buy or sell, but they will be. So sending the right short but friendly kind of chatty email to those people is probably appropriate, because they will recognize you. The email should be branded with a recognized photo of you, up-to-date photo of you. Should be professional in look, but it doesn't have. I feel it shouldn't be like, a report on the housing condition of the housing stock in the last 3 months. I'm just pulling that straight out of my head.
Sure.
One of these template report PDFs. That is not the purpose of. I don't feel is that this is not the purpose of you sending this email to them. The purpose of this email is to see that you're friendly, you're still in business, you're still there, and it's just a friendly tap on the shoulder to say, I'm still here to serve you. I'm sending this email. It's a quick read. When you have had a copy break, you've opened it because you recognise the name of, that's Bill, comrade. I recognised the name, opened it up, gave it a quick read, might have got rid of it, but it's a quick tap on the shoulder. Does that make sense, Robert?
Sure. No, it makes perfect sense.
And then through your online marketing, if you're doing online marketing to generate leads, you're generating leads, or you're trying to generate leads from people that don't really know you. So the emails that you send, or you should send, let's say you're doing a Facebook or Google AdWord campaign and you're driving traffic to a page to get their contact details. Those people that you're successful in giving their contact details, you should then send them a series of email, and hopefully a percentage of those you will get into a position to have a discussion with those people, right? Because that's the point, to get face-to-face with them. But then you should then put them on another list and then give them a tap on the shoulder. But the email that you would send to them would be different to your sphere list, because that should be slightly a little bit more formal in tone and content. but you should still put them on a secondary drip campaign after your first drip campaign. That could be monthly. Is that making sense, Robert?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense to me. You just
Right.
have to set all that up.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of agents don't do it. But if you segment, but I'm talking about 4 segments at the most. You can overdo this, folks. I've seen other people that gone the other way and they segment. In my opinion, there's a level where you don't get a great return. All right, I'm going to go for the break now, folks. And when we come back, I'm going to finish off on the list side, and then we're going to go on to discussing how mobile and how to work with it. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. Hopefully I haven't bored you to tears at least, but it's something that was in my mind, and I really, really think a lot of agents fail on this. And basically, it's well known, especially with past clients, not engaging with them, is that I looked at some statistics. If let's say you've got 300 people in your past client list, you should get a 10% engagement from that. And from that, you should get a couple of deals. So you're literally leaving dollars on the table by not doing this, folks. So that's why it's worth doing. Just to wrap up on this, Thomas, is the other thing is when people get into online marketing and driving traffic to what we've described as landing pages with lead magnets, is that I've just lost my train of thought there for a second, but let's regain it. When you're driving that kind of traffic to your system, you've got to understand that you've got to have automated systems, because the difference with a lot of agents can't grasp is that they're what I call the Buffini mythology of building tight community relationships, which I agree works. And I would never tell agent not to engage in what I call the Buffini way, is that when you're getting leads off the internet, their quality is going to be quite less in quality. So you've got to have automated systems, because you cannot handle those like an agent that's been really ingrained in the Buffini or the Tom Ferriss mythology. It just will not. Ferry, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
It just won't work. But I wouldn't exclude either. The other thing that a lot of agents don't understand is they don't, especially if they're in that 1 to 5 year span, is that they don't have a lot of people in their contacts. You really got to start, if you're going to go into online marketing or do online marketing, you've got to really try and build your list for retargeting reasons and for other reasons which we can deal with next week or in the coming weeks. But ways of really building your list up here's 2 tips. Do events yourself. What I mean is do family events like every 3 months and get a sponsor or sponsor it yourself, and then get somebody in the community that can be a joint partner and do a joint sponsor event, a family event. You can, picnic in the park and provide a bouncy castle. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money on this with some balloons and and then advertise that event. And then when people, I would charge a nominal amount but say to people, if they go to your website and they sign up, you send them a coupon, which will enable them to go to the event for free, right? But To get that coupon, they have to give you a name, email, and phone number.
Sure.
Right? That really works. That really builds up your email list. The other thing is, and especially with slightly more experienced agents, they're very negative about open houses. They need to get over that. The purpose of an open house is not to sell that house. The purpose of an open house is branding, marketing, and list building.
Mm-hmm.
That is the purpose of open houses.
Sure.
They should be what you should provide: food, coffee, really nice food, should be really staged well, should invest time on have a system of marketing the open house, and you need a system, do a offering, a Starbucks or whatever. If people fill in either form or MailRite comes with a system, but you really want to utilize those open house as a methodical system for building your list.
Sure.
And also just having discussions, because through discussions, new deal possibilities come.
Right.
What do you reckon, Robert?
I reckon that so I'm the kind of marketer that would be reluctant to do open houses because I'm more of an inside salesperson. And if I'm going to show up at a property, I want to sell the property. So I fall on the opposite side of the spectrum. However, I'm also I definitely fall into the bucket of being, if I was getting into real estate, I would start with a budget. I'd already be ramped up and ready to I'd be able to generate a large lead flow immediately. And I probably wouldn't even do it unless I could invest in some kind of assistant. And I'd have a system set up where somebody was physically located at the open houses. Because I agree with you in theory, going to an open house, doing list building, it would be very important. Like you could just shake a lot of hands, make an impression with people. And I think there's two ways to do it. If you're new in the business, you got to be there yourself. You just got to suck it up and do it. Like go there, be there. It's boots on the ground. It's putting you in front of people that you could potentially do business with today, tomorrow, next year. Got to do it. If you're more experienced like me, you're going to set up a window of time in which you personally will be at the open house while your assistant will manage everybody else. And if you do your marketing right, you'll have your assistant build your marketing credibility and your marketing presence by saying, my broker, my agent is extremely experienced in this area. They've been selling homes here for 10 years. They know all the ins and outs of the neighborhood, the closing costs, the lenders, all those details. They will be here between 11 and 1 o'clock if you have any of those questions. And then you build up that audience that show up, and your serious people who come to see the house will circle back around when that resource is going to be present. In addition, you get the list building that you're talking about, which is where people are signing into the open house, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's my thought.
Oh, that's great. I totally agree with you. And that's how I would do it. I think what you've got to understand, folks, is I get a lot of agents that say, well, I don't get many people turn up with the open house. Well, you haven't promoted it, but you've got to have a methodical system of promoting it. And the beauty of that, there's two methods. There's get some leaflets printed, won't cost you that much. You get a template designed for you, which you can rapidly change the address, change the photo, but the format would be the same. So you could rapidly get that knocked out, get it printed, and get that distributed. Either, if you're really short of the pennies, you walk the pavement and you distribute themselves. Then you advertise it on the open house on Facebook, and because it's the geo ability of Facebook, it won't cost that much, and you can really promote you got to set up your carousel. I would have a set or a video, having a nice video of the property, a short teaser, and then have the address and that, have it displayed. That's what works.
Well, I would be of so there's two sets of thoughts. The way that the people used to do it out here is you used to take leaflets and you post open houses at grocery stores, the post office, and the penny saver. And those methods still work. They actually do. They don't not work anymore. However, you would be selling yourself short if you didn't understand the vastness of the digital swimming pool as well, which is where you do the Facebook stuff. If it's me, I'm gonna put a process in place and tell my assistant, my team, every time I take a listing, all these steps need to be done, and I would still include the post office
Yeah.
and the penny saver, because these methods are either free or very low cost. And then I would also do as you've suggested, Facebook, and then I would also, as the agent or the broker, where I'd be spending my time, and I'm going to blatantly segment into our other topic here. I'd be using my time as the broker and using my cell phone. And at some point, even if I am determined to be an inside salesperson most of the time, still have to go physically put my feet on the property. And when I do that, I'm going to make sure that I utilize that time to the best of my ability. And I'm going to collect all what my digital marketing assets. What's the digital marketing asset? These days, these phones are so incredible. Like you could have there's these wands that you hold out where you can hold them at a distance, and they film you, and they do all these different things. You also have these automated pods that you could set up, and they'll follow you around a space if you're talking. And I would use one of these tools, and I would simply walk the home, and I would take about 5 or 10 minutes worth of video. I'd make sure I got every single room. I'd make sure that I was basically doing a video log or vlog about what my thoughts about the property were. It would almost be like mental notes. Like, here's the sink, here's this. Walk through each room, have a discussion. Shouldn't take more than 30 seconds to 1 minute per room. And that would be my digital assets. I'd split that video up into 6 or 7 pieces. And now I have all the assets that I need to market the property, not only on Facebook, but Instagram is one that I would use.
Oh, you're definitely. It's not something that escapes me regularly, but Instagram is really important, folks. Robert is so. Do not, when you're posting this, it's these open houses on Facebook. You want to select to also post them on Instagram, and you do need an Instagram account. And get at it. The beauty of this, and also you could put these past open houses or onto your website, because the beauty of it is that people forget is that people are bonkers about houses. they love to know about the neighbour's house, other people's house, what the worth of their house at the present. But that's the good thing of being in real estate, is that you're talking about a subject that literally every other person in your community is bonkers about. Is that right, Robert?
Yes, that is correct.
That, you're not selling like plumbing
or they're curious.
They're curious.
That curiosity is where you get your list building, because a lot of people are going to walk into a house that aren't going to buy it, and that's a frustration of a realtor. But what you're trying, my feeling is what you're trying to say is that those walk-ins have a lot of value, and I would agree with you. When you're doing an open house, a lot of the people that walk in are the neighbors, and they're just curious to see what their neighbor's house looked like inside. Does it look like theirs? Did they do something with the floors? Did they do something with the kitchen? And that's great. They're not going to buy anything from you, and there's no possibility of it. They're not even remotely in the market. However, you can get them to sign in, and now you have their contact information, and you have that chance to make the impression that so that maybe 4 or 5 years from now, when they're ready to list their home, you have a chance to list.
I've known opportunities appear. Even the main purpose is branding and list building for open houses, folks. But I've known on a regular basis agents, if they've approached this in the right methodology, they actually get strong leads. And that's why, if you're a new agent, that's why you want to do these open houses for more established agents, because you're building up your list, you're building out your social credibility in the community, you're meeting loads of people. It's costing you time and leather, but it's not costing you a load of money. And by doing these leaflets, I would even talk to the actual agent you're doing it for. I would still do this promotion for them. Obviously, I would negotiate the kind of a little bit of a split if something happens. but I would do it. You know, you got to get real about this, and you really fundamentally got to look to do this every weekend. If you're a new agent, you just got to be prepared to do an open house every weekend and really promote it effectively. I know we're going to talk. I just want to talk about one quick other thing. And I'm sorry, I think we've almost taken up all the time on this subject. I'm sorry about this, Robert. But when we have another internal, I'll make sure that it's a discussion about your mobile phone. How does that sound, Robert?
Sure.
Managing contacts on various computer systems, you're on your own, or if you've got a small team, how do you do it? Well, the best system I've come across for this is Full Contact. They're great people. I interviewed their marketing director about over a year and a half ago, and it's a great product. They offer a free product, folks, but they do offer some paid versions, but they're not ridiculously priced. They're very, very good value. And what does Full Contact does? Well, it works on almost all devices. It will work on Android, iPhone, PC, and Mac. And it will basically work with either Gmail or work with Outlook. It will suck all the contacts. They come with extensions for your browsers, for Chrome, for Firefox. Basically, if you're using Gmail, it comes with an extension. It will you highlight an email, and then it will pop up and tell you everything about that email address. Is it linked to social media accounts? It will actually also give you a very good indication if that's a real email address. It also, if you use the applications, it actually does the same thing in one interface. So you can have, if you had a small team, they will utilize, it will, if it's placed on, if you have the team version of this, let's say all your agents, they have, it's linked to what Robert was saying, they rely on their smartphone. Well, it will suck all the contacts from all the different agents that are in your team into one centralized container platform. So you have a list of everybody's contacts, and then you can subdivide those into the list structures that I've outlined during the show. It's just a great platform. What do you reckon about that?
I don't know it. It's usually I always feel that your input is wise, well thought out, and I know for a fact that it's well researched. So when you're talking about things like Contactually, but I have to take you at your word. I wasn't there for the meeting, and I've never really reviewed the tool. And you know me well enough to know that I'm a big believer in not volunteering too much until I have.
You're very wise.
I want to see, and not only that, but I usually want to use anything that we're going to talk about, so that, because I feel like our users or people that are going to tune into our show are going to do so, or my show, whatever we're doing. I really strongly believe that the only reason they're doing that is because they want to hear specifics and well-reasoned out thoughts about these tools, because the advantage of listening to us is that maybe instead of reviewing 100 tools, which, believe it or not, there's that many and more out in the real estate market, they can review 3 or 4, and that saves them 5 or 10 hours. So they listen to us for an hour, save 4 hours, and still get their list of 2 or 3 that they're gonna look at, and hopefully find what they need to use. So Contactually, I take your word for it.
No, Full Contact, actually.
Full Contact, sorry, my bad.
Full Contact. What the beauty does, to wrap up, Robert, is that they offer a free account.
Okay.
And it's not crippled. It has some limits on how many contacts. Oh, the other thing I didn't point out is if you go with the paid version, I think with the free version, you could buy a pack that would enable you to do this. I'm not sure they're still offering that. I'm sure with the paid versions, which we're talking around $9 a month if you pay yearly, it's really very competitively priced. I'm getting around to is that they offer a card reader. You actually it will take a picture of a card, and it will suck all those details into the database, and
Okay.
it actually works. Because if it doesn't do it manually, it would send it to the cloud, and I think they've got some human beings that will actually do the work as well. But it does a really fantastic job of it. But I know a couple of agents that weren't that techie that had a problem about having a unified system on their phone, on their laptop, on their main computer, and by using Full Contact, it's made a big difference.
That's great. Excellent.
So I think we wrap it up. I've taken up, it's surprising how the time goes. Like I say, we'll discuss in our next internal show about using mobile. I think it's fantastic, but I didn't want the episode to be too long. Robert, how can people get hold of you?
I would love it if people would stop by my website, which is Inbound REM. That's the word inbound, rabbitedwardmichael.com. And that's it. They can contact me or set an appointment with me or just see what I have to say about lots of other topics, all on my website.
And if you want to get hold of me, it's really easy. Go to the MailRight website, use the contact form. If you want a demo, it's right on the top of the header. Click it and you can book a demo. That will be with me, and I'll show you the MailRight system, and we're building it out, putting new functionality in almost every week. Or just Twitter me or Facebook. I'm very approachable, and we can have a one-on-one chat, and I'll just try and help you out. We'll see you next week, where we're going to have a feast around emails, tech in general. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.